well. So obviously I'm going to start with obviously my name. My name's Nathan Ellington, for those of you that don't know me. And I was an ex-professional football player, having gone from non-league all the way up to the Premiership. So at the age of 17, I became a professional football player. And, obviously everything that came with that was the great lifestyle. And, the thing that I loved the most was having both time and money. Something that I didn't realize, was so precious until my career ended about 4 years ago. But just to take you back right to the beginning, it all started from the mindset. It's like the mindset that I had at the beginning before I became a football player. There's a few things that stick in my mind, so I just want to give you an insight into how I was thinking as a person and why I got to where I got, I believe anyway. So for me, I always felt like I was going to become a football player. It was just a matter of time. So throughout my days, I ate and I slept and I drank football. So I woke up in the morning, the first thing I thought about was playing football. I went to the park. I used to go to the park on my own, playing football in the park, taking shots with one ball and, just continuously trying to perfect my game. And that was just because of the sheer love of the sport. It was nothing to do with I want to become a pro, I want this money or anything like that. It was just something that I really loved, and I did it whether I was with my friends or without my friends. And one thing I can remember back in school was when I was at school and I went to a brand new school on the first day, and I met all of the guys from the school that have been there, and I said, I'm the best player straight away. And it wasn't like me being rude or too arrogant. I just felt I was the best player. So I said, I'm the best player. I don't know any players yet, but I believe I'm the best player. So some of the obviously the guys that had been there already saying, who's this guy? Who's he think he's, who he is? Come in here and straight away coming to talk and saying that. But I just had confidence, an air of confidence about me. And I remember some of the players saying, you're not going to make it. You're not going to make it. But for me, I had this determination. Can you close that, please? Thanks. I had a determination to become a pro. So in my head, like I said, I already had got there. It's just been it's a matter of time. So I remember my friend saying, you're not going to make it. You're not going to make it. And I said, look, I am going to make it. And guess what? I'm going to write you out an IOU for £1,000 right now. And I'm going to sign it and date it on that date. And I said, all you have to do is keep it safe somewhere. And then I will pay you when I become pro. So I did that for two of my friends. The name was Elliot Lee and Sharif Alawai. I don't know if anybody knows them. They went to the same school as me, which was Christ School in Richmond. So obviously I lived in London and I lived very far away from my school. But anyway, cut a long story short, with that, I actually became pro. And funny enough, they lost the paper, so I didn't need to pay out. So that was a bit funny. But obviously, fast forward, I lived a lifestyle, like I said, a great lifestyle as a football player. And what it was I earned a lot of money. And with that money, I thought, I'd do the right things. I would invest into property. And I started having a portfolio of properties all around the country. And I thought, yeah, great. The house prices were going up and people were renting it out. So I was thinking, yeah, this is great. So when I finish playing football, I'll have a steady income coming in when I don't have to do anything. So that was what, me and my family, obviously, my family actually advised me to do that. And by the time I hit the Premiership, I think it was 2004, and I went to West Bromwich Albion. And what happened from then was I was looking at a massive, massive property up here in Cheshire. And for me, obviously, I felt like, you know what, I'm going to be in the Premiership for a long, long time now. And so I'm going to be getting paid this big money for pretty much the rest of my career. So why not just get the house of my dreams now, and then I'll continue getting paid later. So it's the one thing I ever did, which I did ahead of me having the money there and then. And that was the one regret I had, because when I did buy that house for 2 million plus 2.2 million, what happened was just about 3-4 months down the line, the market crashed, everything crashed. So every property I had was worth less, much less than what I bought it for, when just before it was worth I don't know, like 20 to 30% more. So I was feeling, yeah, this was great. And then all of a sudden, my investments all came crashing down. And then I had one massive house as well on top of that that I had to pay for. Then we got relegated on top of that, which meant my wages got halved. So I was like, wow, what am I going to do next? You know, I've not got any experience in business at all. What am I going to do? And so what happened was I was just trying to figure out different things while I was playing, thinking, you know, I've only got a few years left, maybe 5, 6, 7 years left of my career. I've got to do something to put in place by the time I finish playing. And years just went by and went by. I got rid of most of my properties, but there was one that was left, and it was the big one, funny enough. And that one there, we had a lot of Premiership footballers that came from abroad, came to England. They rented it out, but they never ended up buying the property off me. So I was stuck with that property. And basically, my career, I retired around 32 years old. And at that point, I still had the property. And basically, the income wasn't there anymore. So it was like, what am I going to do now? So in the end, we had to give the house back to the bank. They wanted the money back because the mortgage wasn't being paid. So a year down the line, I'm basically figuring out what I'm going to do now. I've got a little bit of my money saved. I've managed to have my own property paid out, my own cars paid out, everything paid out. That I thought, you know what, at least at the end of my career, I have this to show for it, you know. But what happened was a year down the line, I get a letter that says, you owe us £1 million. So I'm like, okay, great. I haven't got £1 million. So what am I going to do? So I had to go for voluntary bankruptcy to get rid of that. So wipe the slate clean. 2 years down the line, 1 year down the line, sorry, my slate is cleaned. I don't owe anything anymore, but I have to start again. So what that meant is all my assets, obviously, they had to go too. So everything that I had and I had built, my own property, my cars, they had to go. Because obviously, when that thing happens like that, they look at anything that has any value to it, and that's what they take. So it was like starting brand new again at 32 with nothing, no business experience, nothing. Having lived a certain lifestyle for so many years, and then all of a sudden, what happens? All of a sudden, you're sitting there, and you don't know what to do next, and time's running out. You've got a bit of money saved, and you just got to figure out what to do next. So it was onto the business. So what did I do first? I looked around at the biggest businessmen in the world. This gentleman here that you see on your screen, this is Mr. Bill Gates. Obviously, he's one of the most well-known businessmen out there in the world. We all know Warren Buffett. We all know Bill, the Joker, who's in charge in America right now, Donald Trump. Robert Kiyosaki is a book that I actually was given to by my strike partner, Jason Roberts, during my career when I was playing with him at Wigan. He gave me a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. He says, Nath, this book's amazing. You need to read this book. And I obviously didn't listen to him at the time, just put the book in my house. I said, yeah, thanks. I'll read it one day. Little did I know that was a book written by Robert Kiyosaki. Is one of the most the best-selling book in business out there. And he's very, very well known for that book. But so for me, when I went online and I saw this statement here, given a chance to start all over again, I would choose network marketing. So I was like, what's network marketing? I don't know what that is. But obviously I went online and I found out about what network marketing was about. And I thought, you know what? There's some information here that I never knew about. The first thing I came across, which has always stuck in my mind, is since 1972, network marketing has created more new millionaires than any other industry in the world. So I was like, okay, that's an industry that can make me a millionaire. It's capable of making me a millionaire. Sounds good. And then I found that in the Rich Dad, Poor Dad book, he actually recommends people who are entrepreneurial to go and find a network marketing business which suits them, to be able to learn different skill sets. And it's a very good business model because it allows you to start with a business that's already established, build it up, but it gives you time to build it up. You're not under any pressure from any, managers or stuff like that. But at the same time, you don't also have to put in massive investment in order to build your business. Like in any normal business, you try to build, like what I did a few years ago with a security company. I plowed about 50,000 into that, and I received nothing back. And we had to just call it quits after a year or two because we just couldn't get anywhere. That was my money down the drain. But with a network marketing company, it's a company that's already established. You don't have to put much. It's a couple £100 to get started. Then you have to just master the skill set of everything that's needed to become good at that business. But then which business? That was the question for me. Which business should I get involved in? And I was actually introduced to a network marketing business straight after, by my cousin actually. Straight after, within that year of bankruptcy, I was actually introduced to a company. And so I thought, you know what, I've got to get started in this business and try to build business. Obviously, I'm brand new, so I'm going to have to learn a few new skills. But it took some time. But I did love the network marketing industry, everything about it, because it's the total opposite to the normal business world. In the normal business world, you're fighting. You're in a rat race and you're fighting for a certain position. And obviously other people who are working as, like, for example, who are workers with you, they're also fighting for that position. And they're obviously looking to suck up to maybe the manager, to maybe say something about someone else. Or if someone new comes in, they're looking at them with envy if they're very good, because they're thinking, oh, he's a threat to my position that I want to get. So then they don't want that person to do well. So usually you find a lot of bickering, a lot of backstabbing when it comes to the normal business industry. So that's what we're used to as people. This is what we're brought up to actually do when we go to school. What were we told? Go to school, get good grades. Then what were we told? Go to college, get good grades. Then take out a loan, go to uni, and then get good grades. Then get a good paying job and pay that loan back. And it continue paying that loan back. But then you're now in a job working for someone who has a business, who's sitting there making you work. And then you're in direct competition with the other workers as well. Whereas network marketing, what it is it's a total opposite. So when let's say you introduce someone to a business that you're doing, you want them to do well, because if they do well, you do well. So it's of mutual benefit. So that's what's great about the business. It's like, even if you find a selfish person, they can't be selfish in the network marketing industry, because they have to help you to actually achieve your goals, to be able to make more money in the business as well as the products themselves. So for me, like I say, it was one of them things where it took me 4 years. I was searching for different businesses within the network marketing industry, but I just couldn't find that business which actually sat right with me. It's very, very difficult because, you know, there's many different things you can do in the world, many different businesses you can take up, and you don't know what suits you until you try it. So for me, it was 4 years of struggle. I actually had to go and work as well at a friend's shop. It's a takeaway shop, earning £7.50 an hour. Think about it, going from, you know, the highs of like over 15K a week to £7.50 an hour, working part-time. So you can imagine where I had to go from. But I'd been there before I was a football player. So it's not like I'm too big to go back again, you know. So for me, it was like, you know what, I have to start somewhere. I have to build somewhere. But what am I going to do? Am I going to sit there and just stay in that place, in the rat race, and then just give up and not try and attain my dreams? Or am I going to change, and am I going to try and add something to what I'm doing at the time to actually build my way out of the struggle? Trust me, it was a big, big struggle. And coming from living that lifestyle where you have time and money, enough money that you don't need to think about money. And then all of a sudden, it's like, I could give you, like, what I've spent on food for the month is what people spend on all of their bills and everything for the month. So if you think about it, how you have to, like, I had to totally adjust my lifestyle and my whole family as well. So what I had was my children as well, really upset because I'm away from them all the time. They're used to me being home before they get home from school. I pick them up from school. I'm at home with them all day because that's a footballer's lifestyle. And then they never away from me. But now, like just a few months ago, I was working every night. So nobody could, the kids couldn't see me. So they were crying that I wasn't about. And so that hurt a lot. But it hurt so much that I was like, you know what? I'm not going to stick in this kind of way. I'm going to move on, and I'm going to go to, I'm going to add to my workload until I can get out of this. So that leads me on to the business.